Okay, so let's start our afternoon session with, of course, the brains behind this whole operation. I think I'll let Natasha introduce our welcoming remarks for the afternoon session.
Okay, so our welcoming remarks is from our CEO and executive editor of Rappler and my boss, Maria Ressa.
Wow. I'll be stronger, I'll be wiser. After the rain, hope will save me, dreams will guide me. Pretty cool. That's actually a lot of the things we've talked about in the last 2 days. Let me show you what I think we're dealing with and what you're dealing with as you figure out what you can do, what technology we can take advantage of. I woke up to this, right? We all woke up to this today. You know what this is? If you haven't checked the news, I can't help it. It comes on my cell phone. Bucket bomb strikes London's vulnerable underground. That was the bucket bomb. And then, of course, President Trump had to use social media to tweet about it and get the other leader angry. And then, of course, our dear friends came in and claimed it, right? Which then, when I saw that, it reminded me of this, our own fight with ISIS and the people who were affected by this. And the hundreds of deaths there reminded me of the thousands of deaths that we're dealing with. And of course, it reminded me of the week that was, the budgets that were cut. And this morning, you've seen this, right? It can be overwhelming, right? So that's part of the reason we're going to not focus on the now. We're going to take the energy we have and think about the world we want to build in 2030. This is something we've been doing for the last 6 years. I know so many of the faces who are here, thank you. Every year we come together and we dream. And dreams are even more important now. Last year you saw me talk about the trends that are there that will change our lives. And what was so interesting is some of the startups, some of the pitches we saw incorporated some of these, right? This biotech, genetics, artificial intelligence, robots, and energy. Singularity University says that in 16 years, energy will be free. If energy is free, this was last year, Solar Philippines. It's a mall that's completely powered by solar energy. And you know, this year, solar energy is a pivot for this company that's started by a millennial. And then genetics, the DNA, the kind of technology that's being pulled together for medical reasons, for genetics. Do you know that now, if you get pregnant, and for the young 20-somethings, don't get pregnant yet until you're ready, but when you get pregnant, you can actually get a test, and CRISPR technology can prevent any genetic disease. And even better is that the technology is available for free. Any country can take what is already out there. In the same way that some of our startups yesterday, some of the pitches yesterday used available open source technology to give life to their ideas. Well, this CRISPR technology, any nation can pick it up now and become a hub. These are some of the other things. So genetics, we'll leave artificial intelligence for last. Robots. Artificial intelligence leads to the robots, but the robots are now at a point where they're taking over I'm not gonna say menial, but repetitive tasks, right? Which will have an impact on the Philippines, which will have an impact on you and your kids. And what kind of world, what kind of future do you see for work? What kind of work are we going to have the next 20 years? Some countries are already experimenting with just giving a universal income. Sana, no? But these are still ideas. I want to zoom in. Robots, that robot is not made in America. That robot is made in Asia, very close to us. The robots that have the most facial expression are made in Hong Kong. So it's here. What are we going to do about it? For us, what can we use? And I'll focus on artificial intelligence because not only is it something that every industry needs, but for journalists, I think this is something you heard this morning. It's very personal. So for me, let me put it to you in the context of journalism, right? Every industry will deal with all of these same things from artificial intelligence. And if it's not yet clear in your head, take a look at this slide and then let's talk about it. Maybe next year we can do more things before next year. But look at some of the things that it will change. Essentially, man or woman, we're going to be working with machines. And some of the things that we don't like doing, those repetitive tasks, we can give to a machine so we can do better things with it. In the end, it goes back to what we were talking about the last 2 days, which is meaning and purpose. That's part of what an idea like universal income is supposed to do, right? As machines come in to take some of those repetitive tasks, what happens to people? Well, look at what AI is. What can it do? Machine vision. So right now, there's already machine learning, facial recognition. Your Facebook has a facial recognition system, right? But now, what about faces to feelings? Your apps can actually begin to understand images and video and the way you feel. Speech recognition, when you do something, when you put something on Facebook, when you put something on some of the apps, this is now artificial intelligence. Language processing. One of our startups, one of the pitches yesterday was using language processing. When you use a bot, that uses language processing. When you're doing a kind of educational product, that will require knowledge, representation, and reasoning. Again, that's artificial intelligence, machine learning and predictive analytics, and robotics. All of these things are just different ways of using artificial intelligence. So start to look at it. Start to take it apart. In your daily life, you may not know that you're already using it. In fact, among the biggest artificial intelligence companies around the world are in your pockets. Google and Facebook and Apple, right? So artificial intelligence is in everything that we do, but let's zoom in on artificial intelligence that we can use for pitches, machine learning. This is, again, you've heard me talk a lot about, if you were at ThinkPH, I talked about bots, both good and bad, right? Machine learning is part of what makes the bot able to do very simple things, but can also, if you use deep learning and neural networks, I'm tossing these out. Google, our best friend right now. We must wrap our heads around them because that will be part of the creative process you can tap to look at the problems you want solved and tap the technology. This I'll leave with because these are some of the things we in media grapple with. And your technology platform, Facebook, uses a lot of, right? Has anyone used virtual reality? Virtual reality? Not yet. Raise your hand if you've used virtual reality. Yeah. And did you like it? Did you hate it? Yeah? You're nodding your head? So, right? Virtual, I'm not a big fan yet, but the way that it's moving so fast, it'll change in the same way that Google Glass didn't quite work, right? But it's going to move exponentially. Augmented reality is something else, and we're doing a lot of that. Who uses Snapchat, Facebook, augmented reality when you put it? You're already using it. Can we use it for something else? I've seen advertisers play with it. And then finally, this one we've seen in the developed world, mixed reality. When in the real world, instead of just doing this, we can actually take something and be able to mix different realities. Interesting ideas, not so far-fetched because you can actually use the artificial intelligence. IBM, Watson, gives some of this stuff for free. So if you're looking at problems you need solutions for, consider this. The reason I'm telling you this is because I think everyone who's come up on stage today has talked about taking risks and not being afraid to fail. Well, we are at Rappler, began Rappler as just a risk and an experiment. And when it took off, we were thrilled, but we were also prepared to fail. Now, with technology where it is, it's time to take more risks. And the next risk I want to tell you about here, because I love the community that we have every year. And this is something that as a traditional journalist, I wasn't sure was right, but at the same time, has been done in all other parts of the world. It's giving us the courage to perhaps to be the first in the Philippines to try this. And I'll just read to you some of what we're trying to do and how our community will benefit from this, right? When power, let me pull it up. It's a little hard to read from here. No, let me just get the text. When power insists you're either with us or against us, the space for a diversity of voices and ideas shrinks. When hate and anger are weaponized, it creates a spiral of silence. When critical questions are simplistically equated with an anti-government agenda, it requires courage to hold decision makers accountable. We launched Rappler in 2012 to marry the highest standards of journalism with technology to strengthen Philippine democracy. We don't want to just give you the news. We aim to promote critical thinking, self-reflection, and empathy to encourage informed decision-making. Help us stay free and independent of political pressure and commercial interests. It's our very first crowdfunding campaign. It's something our team had thought about for a while. It's a facility I hope you also, our partners, will be able to work with us on. Please spread the word. It's a world of collaboration. It's an experiment that we wanted to do today. In the end, and I'll go back to the beginning of how we opened the day, the bombings, the death, the threats of the world, and the technology that may be able to push it away and create a better world than the one we're living in. The hashtag is Inspire Courage. Whether it is in journalism, or whether it is in your own enterprise or your own organizations, it's a time to inspire courage. I'll leave you with this, with our video.
We believe there are many freedoms: to speak, to choose, to love, or just to be. In Rappler, we stand for those freedoms, but we do not stand alone. We stand with the men and women of this country whose visions for the future challenge and engage. We believe that freedom stands for courage, to believe in the good, to question, to seek solutions, to clamor for change. As we work to connect our communities, we are moved by the strength of those who speak for the voiceless. We are empowered by the technology that allows us to tell the nation's story. We are fueled with the hope that together, we can inspire courage.
Hope is a really big word. I hope today brings us all hope again. I'm going to end again with the words from the song that Elinette just sang. I'll be stronger, I'll be wiser, I'll be freer. Hope will save me, dreams will guide me. Let's dream. Thank you.